A low-context culture is a culture where people communicate information clearly and directly through words, rather than relying on shared background knowledge or unspoken cues. In these cultures, the meaning of what someone says is mostly found in the actual words they use, not in body language, tone, or the setting. People are expected to say exactly what they mean and to listen carefully to what is said, not just how it is said. This type of communication is especially common in places where people come from different backgrounds and may not share the same assumptions or traditions. Low-context cultures have several key features. Communication tends to be explicit, meaning that speakers explain everything clearly without expecting the listener to read between the lines. Rules and expectations are usually written down, and people are taught to follow procedures exactly. There is often a strong focus on logic, facts, and individual responsibility. People are also encouraged to express their thoughts openly, even if they disagree. In these cultures, being clear and honest is often seen as more respectful than being subtle or vague. Now let's look at some examples. In a classroom in a low-context culture, teachers may give students detailed instructions and expect them to follow every step exactly as explained. At work, people may send emails that carefully list tasks, deadlines, and contact details instead of expecting co-workers to guess. In social situations, a person might say, "I'm not available this weekend," rather than hoping others notice hints or signals. These examples show how low-context cultures depend on direct communication to keep things clear and efficient. Low-context cultures are often compared to high-context cultures, where people rely more on non-verbal cues, shared experiences, and relationships to understand meaning. In a high-context culture, a person might assume that others already understand what is meant, even if it is not fully explained. In contrast, low-context cultures expect everything to be spelled out clearly, especially when people are not familiar with one another. While high-context communication can feel more personal and intuitive, low-context communication is usually faster to understand for people who are new or unfamiliar with the group. Living or working in a low-context culture has some important implications. It can make communication easier between people from different backgrounds because it reduces confusion caused by unspoken rules. It also supports fairness, since clear expectations are often written down and shared. However, it may sometimes seem too blunt or impersonal to people from high-context cultures. Understanding these differences helps people avoid misunderstandings, especially when they are working or studying in international or multicultural environments. Knowing how low-context communication works can help people adapt and build better relationships across cultures.